When many people think of Japan, they picture order, respect, safety, and tradition. Quiet trains, clean streets, people bowing, lining up, and thinking about how their actions affect everyone around them. But tonight, we are looking at a deeper question. What happens when the older generation that protected many of these traditions begins to fade, while younger generations grow up shaped by city life, work pressure, globalization, and personal choice? Japan is not losing its culture overnight, but it is changing. Japan is one of the oldest societies in the world. In 2024, almost 30% of its population was 65 or older. Children under 15 made up only about 11.2%, and the fertility rate was around 1.1%. Those numbers are not just population data. They are cultural data. Traditions survive when people practice them, teach them, and pass them down. If fewer young people are being born, and fewer are choosing the same lifestyles as their parents and grandparents, then Japan's cultural future will naturally look different. Older generations in Japan have often been the strongest keepers of community traditions. These traditions are built around respect for elders, family duty, neighborhood relationships, religious customs, festivals, and group harmony. This is part of the Japan many visitors admire: polite, respectful, safe, and community-minded. But traditions do not continue just because they are old. They continue when younger people choose to participate. For generations, Japanese society has been shaped by interdependence. The idea that the group comes before the individual. Family, workplace, neighborhood, and society all carried strong expectations. But research shows Japan moving in a more individualistic direction. Psychologist Yuji Ogahara concluded that Japanese culture has become more individualistic over time. That does not mean Japan has become exactly like the United States. It means older group-centered values are now competing with independence, self-expression, and personal choice. The shift shows up in daily life. One-person households rose from about 20.8% in 1985 to 38.1% in 2020. Marriage has declined, and more young adults are delaying or avoiding the traditional family path. Work pressure is another major force. In 2023, about 15.2% of Japanese workers worked 49 hours or more per week. Japan even has a word for death from overwork, karoshi. If young people are stressed, overworked, and unsure about family life, fewer of them may carry on traditional family and community customs. At the same time, Japan is more connected to the outside world than ever. In 2024, Japan received about 36.9 million foreign tourists, a record high. Its foreign workforce also reached about 2.3 million people. That brings money, workers, and global attention. But it also creates tension. In Kyoto's Gion district, complaints about overcrowding and disrespectful tourism led to one clear message: Kyoto is not a theme park. The concern is that living traditions can become attractions instead of culture people actually respect and continue. Japan is not the only country facing a generational shift. China offers one comparison. After China opened to market economics in 1978, cities grew quickly, migration increased, and younger people faced intense work pressure. The 996 schedule, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, helped create youth pushback like the lying flat movement. That movement showed young people questioning the old promise that sacrifice always leads to success. America offers another comparison. The United States was built on both freedom and unity. But over time, American culture became more individualistic. Sociologist Robert Putnam argued that civic life, local organizations, and neighbor relationships weakened in the late 20th century. These examples matter because Japan is facing a similar question. When younger generations become more independent and less tied to old expectations, what happens to community tradition? So is Japanese culture disappearing? Not exactly. Japan is moving from a society strongly centered on group harmony, respect, safety, and community obligation into one where younger generations are also shaped by city life. Work pressure, low birth rates, globalization, and personal choice. The future of Japanese culture may depend on adaptation. If traditions remain tied only to old expectations, they may fade. But if traditions become flexible enough for younger people to join in new ways, they can survive. Japan may not look exactly the same in the future, but its culture does not have to disappear. It may simply become a new version of itself.